The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Invitational Tournament. Game 5 is a game between the Portsmouth Economic Development, who will be the visitors on the scoreboard, the guests on the scoreboard.
And we welcome you to the 72nd Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament from Churchland High School in Portsmouth, Virginia. It is our 5th game of the 12-game marathon on this Thursday night. Our nightcap featuring Mike Duman Incorporated taking on Portsmouth Economic Development. We're glad you're with us here on Prep Spin all over the globe and across the Hampton Roads community watching here on the spot, Norfolk 27. With Coach Ed Young and Charles Blackwell Isler, Matthew Hanford here as we are delighted to bring you this coverage of our game. Fellas, this should be a good one between Mike Duman and Portsmouth Economic Development. Portsmouth Economic Development coached by Billy Mann, a former ODU standout, Junior Burrow, who played in the NBA and at the University of Virginia, and Kenny Ebekwe, while Mike Duman Incorporated coached by Gregory Ackles, Jeremy Jordan, who's the head coach over at Pocosin High School, and Salim Stoudemire, former standout at Arizona. I'll start with you, Charles. Greetings. This should be a fun one, as a lot of people are looking forward to some of these players in this game. I know a couple guys have your eye in particular.
Yeah, so I'm keeping a close eye on Quadir Copeland. I really think he is one of the standouts in this tournament here. I think that a lot of people are going to have their eyes on him, and if he's bringing that rock up, just be ready for the ball to be moving. It's going to be a fast-paced game, and I'm just looking forward just seeing how he looks with this competition around.
He's the guard out of NC State, of course, that had a heck of a career, 13.9 points per game and 6.5 assists per contest, 12th nationally. How about for you, Ed? I know the guy with the goggles, he's got a bunch of
That's my man. That's my man, Robbie Avila. I said it right, Avila?
Yes, you did.
With the glasses, first at Indiana State, now University of St. Louis, all kind of crazy nicknames. He's my type of player. We are on the same diet. I just wish I was 6'10". And then there's also the second best nickname or name in the tournament, Boopy Miller from SMU. But he ain't just a name. The kid can play a little bit. Keep eyes on him. And another guy I like from Tulsa, David Green. Team a little bit flew under the radar. Watch David Green tonight, too.
Yeah, David Green helped Tulsa reach the NIT final. And in Avila's case, he has so many nicknames. He's just grown out of all the different nicknames that he's got. Let's give it the starting lineups for these teams. For Portsmouth Economic Development, we touched on that a moment ago with Charles Quadir Copeland from NC State out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You have A.J. Storr, the 6'5" guard from Ole Miss out of Rockford, Illinois, 6'5" guard. You have David Green, that Coach Young just talked about, over 1,000 points at Tulsa out of Apopka, Florida. And then rounding out the lineup, Wyatt Fricks and Devin McLaughlin. Fricks, a 6'10" forward from Marshall. McLaughlin, a 6'8" forward from Vanderbilt out of Cumming, Georgia, while Mike Duman Incorporated counters with Boopy Miller, Anthony Roy, Solomon Washington, Mark Mitchell, and Van Allen Lubin. Van Allen Lubin, a teammate of Copeland's, Charles, at NC State. So pretty cool. We get a matchup like the last game with Jackson Kohar against Carson Cooper. Two guys that were teammates, now they're opponents. That'll be pretty cool.
This will be really, really intriguing to watch. Looking forward to it.
Boopy Miller, a 6-foot-tall guard from Chicago, Illinois, out of SMU. In the case of Anthony Roy, the 6'5" guard from Oakland, California, and Oklahoma State. While Washington's a 6'7" forward from Maryland and New Orleans, Louisiana. Mitchell, a 6'9" forward from Kansas City, Kansas, who filled the stat sheet 77th in the country and scoring 18.3 per game. First at Duke and then closing out his career at Missouri. Our officials for our game today, Charles Watson, Jason Albanza, and Genesis Perryman, and we're underway in blue. The three-point shot is dialed up off the mark for Wyatt Fricks. Rebound comes to Mike Duman Incorporated, and they're looking to go here with the basketball. And they're going to be going behind Boopy Miller, who was 4th in the ACC in scoring and 2nd in assists per game this past season. Miller gets the ball back, working on the defender, and Fricks stops, leans in with the right hand, and the shot doesn't fall. Battle for the rebound is going to be won. It goes out of bounds, and it will be touched last by Blue, as it was McLaughlin unable to get his hands on it to corral the rebound. Early on, it's always that feeling out process. Coach, I know you talk about that, and we're going to see who can kind of be that tone setter in this game. The last game, I really thought it was Trey Kaufman-Red from Purdue, even though his team fouled. And that's going to make Coach next to us, Charles, upset because it was a cardinal sin of fouling a three-point shooter, which you can't do.
Coming out in my squad, you foul three-point shooter, coming out. Yeah, for people who haven't seen this, it's a tournament bringing in 64 players. They only have 1 day to practice, and it's about 30 minutes. So there's a lot of individuality you'll see within a team concept. A lot of pick and roll, give and go, off the screen, one-on-one, which is not an issue. And athleticism. It's NBA people here, other pro scouts. What can these kids do from being the best where they came from? How do they fit into a team?
First free throws up and good for Anthony Roy, the Green Bay transfer who led the nation in scoring before an injury. 25.7 points per game when he went down in December of 2024. And then at Oklahoma State with the Cowboys, 16.9 points per contest. Another guy that was at 4 different schools in 4 years, helped the Cowboys make the NIT, but he was first at San Francisco, then New Mexico State before going to Green Bay and playing at Oklahoma State. He hits 3 of 3, and Portsmouth Economic Development has the 3-point lead. We watch now at the controls for them, A.J. Storr. He's a guy, Charles, we talked about before we went on the air. He's got kind of those ebbs and flows from his days at St. John's. Of course, as a three-point shot is buried by David Green from Tulsa. But going back to Storr for a second, St. John's, then Wisconsin. Kansas didn't have the hot numbers, but Ole Miss. And he's a player that can really make his mark in this tournament.
I think he is one of the standouts, too, as well. Just interested to see how they all work together because a lot of them, they had big roles on their team. So just to see how they stand out. And this is about roles, to me, going into this. These guys are going to the next level. And we want to see how they look and fit. They all were stars where they were at, so it's interesting to see them.
Mitchell gets the hoop there. 5-3 is the count. 3-point shot off the mark. Tapped that a couple of times. Rebound's going to be collected ultimately by McLaughlin, and they pass it up top. Green, the ball movement's there. His swing it. Wyatt Fricks has it. 3-point shot from the wing for Green. Not going to go down. This time in the rebound, it's collected by Van Allen Lubin, the 6'9 from Orlando, Florida. He played at Notre Dame, Vanderbilt, and North Carolina before finishing up with the Wolfpack, registering 8 double-doubles there. And we have a foul on the floor. Early on, a 2-point lead from Portsmouth Economic Development. What have you seen so far, Ed?
Well, again, I'm like what Charles said. How do these guys fit in where you maybe were a 20-point scorer, but now let's say you go to the NBA and you're 11th man, 12th man. You ain't getting 20 points a game. You'd be lucky to get 20 minutes a game, if even that. So what else can you bring to the table? What else can you do? So they want to be able to see, can a guy diversify his game somewhat here? If he can't, well, that kind of tells you he's limited.
Yeah. Shot along the baseline doesn't go down. Rebounded in blue. It's A.J. Storr with the basketball. The Rockford, Illinois product getting rid of it. Going in the lane and kicking it out. Here's a 3-point shot for Wyatt Fricks. Doesn't fall. Long rebound's going to be chased down by Solomon Washington from Maryland. Here comes Boopy Miller. Stops at the foul line. Over to Mitchell inside. Basket not there for Van Allen Lubin. Follows again. And again, the defense coming up with a stop with Devin McLaughlin until, it's taken away by Washington. So some sloppiness at both ends. A couple of missed chances and fouls committed here as these two teams are trying to get themselves acclimated. It's the last game of the night. First time here in this gym, on this floor with all the different color lines, whether they're black, orange, white. It's taking some time to get into the flow.
I also feel like it's a fast-paced game so far. And I think that's why they're losing control. I think they need to slow down a little bit and use each other. This is what this is about. We need to see how these guys work together, They're all coming from different situations, so.
Right. They got to be able to show what can they sacrifice in their game. That's really a big key in this.
That's a word we have not used the whole time, but the sacrificing part is such a big deal in basketball, making the unselfish play, whether it's on the offensive end, getting your teammates involved, or defensively taking a charge that's going to be collected inside by Washington as the defense makes a play. But there's one defensive play right back with swipe by Copeland. There's your guy. And again, it's now a hoop to even things up at 5 apiece. So sloppy on offense, but if you make a play on defense, that can get your offense settled in.
Indeed. And I think he's an underrated defender as well. So I'm hoping, look at that, get on the floor.
And now you see the control dribble now with Anthony Roy from Oklahoma State, but then it goes off a leg as these offenses are trying to get on track in this opening quarter. So far, the shooting a combined 3 of 12. Portsmouth Economic Development 2 of 7 in the start of this one, while Mike Duman 1 for 5 from the floor. inside. They're going to feed it. And a block shot from behind as we see the play by Devin McLaughlin. Played at Boston College for a couple seasons and then 2 at Vanderbilt in the SEC. He led Vandy in blocks 2 seasons ago, and he had 112 blocks in his college career, so he's not afraid to mix it up defensively.
Second Vanderbilt kid we've seen.
Yeah, Vandy's got a lot of players. Mark Byington certainly has made them a presence in the SEC, making the SEC Tournament Championship this year, losing to Arkansas, and, of course, the round of 32 where they fell to Nebraska and Fred Hoiberg's Cornhuskers in a heck of a ball game, but putting them on the map, which they've not always been.
I like that matchup right there.
Boopy Miller doesn't get to finish, but he stays in with it. Down low they go. Now from the wing, Anthony Roy trying to drive baseline. The bounce inside, it's going to be a foul, and it'll get to the foul line. Van Allen Lubin, a teammate of Copeland's at NC State, and he'll get 2 free throws. There was 6:23 to go in the first quarter. But you mentioned the matchups thing, Charles. That's a big deal because that's what a lot of whether you're a fan, you're a scout, a general manager, just an evaluator, you want to see how you do it in certain individual matchups because so much of the pro game, particularly the NBA, is going to be how do you do in isolation situations, right?
Yes, and how you're able to, guard outside your position. You see Boop, he's a little bit smaller than some of these guys, but he got that heart, and he's out there showing he's willing to get out there and get on the floor, whatever he got to do to get this win for his team. So that's what teams are looking for.
And one more free throw coming out for VAL. We'll call him Val, Van Allen Lubin. Those are the initials for the big man. And that one's good. One more free throw knocked down. Mike Duman out to a 2-point lead, 7-5. Here's the dribble, kick in the corner, stolen away. As the defense makes a play yet again for Mike Duman Incorporated. On the move now, Anthony Roy looking to direct the offense. Each team will move on to Friday's semifinals.
Great
Inside,
pass.
there's a block again, but the follow's there. They stay with it as Green rejected it at first, but it's going to be Van Allen Lubin converting in the paint.
Seems like Mike Duman's team in white really going hard to the hole well. Portsmouth Economic Development in blue. PD, they're more shooting the outside shots.
Inside, and there's going to be a foul trying to get that finish as it was 30. Wyatt Fricks in blue fouling Mark Mitchell, the Kansas City, Kansas native, who we mentioned was 77th in the country in scoring. We watch it again on the replay. 54.7% from the field for a Tigers team that reached the NCAA tournament this past year and really blossomed in 2024-2025. Guys, he arrived at Mizzou as a small ball type of 5-man. He thrived on the offensive end, but now he was viewed more as a guard or wing type. There was some compromising of the defense, so folks want to see what he does defensively. Going back to something you brought up earlier, Charles, how do you guard in these certain situations? They're wanting to really key in on that and see what he does and how he adapts and adjusts in certain situations.
I think with him, with someone at his size, he has to be vocal. Definitely has to be mobile and willing. A lot of the other stuff you can always get better at, but it's about the tendencies and the things that, you're willing to do as a teammate for your teammates.
Basketball now, it's going to be
Great pass.
Wyatt Fricks getting it back on the little give and go action with the flush.
There's my give and go. I said look for him because it's the easiest play, the oldest play, and somewhat easiest play in basketball. Pass it in and cut like crazy.
Wyatt Fricks is the definition of a late bloomer or breakout player, guys. He didn't become a full-time starter until this past season. And as you see inside, coming away with it is Wyatt Fricks right on cue. He spent all 5 seasons, 125 games, 36 starts in Huntington, but most impressively were his shooting percentages rising to 55.2% from the field and also improving on his three-point and free throw percentages. I mean, a guy that went from an unknown, relatively obscure player to a key guy, and now at this event at the PIT. And we have our first timeout, which means we get our first break of the action. It's 9-7, Mike Duman up early on, and you're watching with us on Prep Spin and On the Spot, Norfolk 27.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
And play is resumed here at the Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament. Mike Duman up by a deuce on Portsmouth Economic Development. Jumper just inside the arc will not go down for Mo Odom, who just checked into the ball game. Into the corner, three-point shot for Xavier Lee, who's entered for the first time tonight, the 6'4" guard from the Florida Gators out of Toronto, Ontario. They move the basketball, and there's the guy, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, also known as College Jokic, Milk Chamberlain with the goggles and the three, and Coach Young is about to do a
That's my guy.
next there, Charles.
That's my guy, baby.
I got a fun fact about you, about this young man.
Oh, we got to hear it. What you got?
So my cousin, Antone Gray, shout out to him, he used to play for him, and he really loves that kid a lot. And it's kind of cool to see him now and just see him outside of that, environment. I think he's a good kid, and he deserves everything that's coming for him.
Deep range on that one for the Atlantic 10 Player of the Year. And, of course, he helped Indiana State make the NIT final a couple years back, 32 wins, 1,990 points in his career. So he's coming out here into Portsmouth saying, I'm going to go get the 10-plus to get the 2,000 in my career.
Put it on the resume. He deserves it. I love the kid. He plays hard. He works hard out there. But he reminds me of the type of kid working his butt off, training, and then go get a burger or two or a milkshake right after.
Baby Joker.
Yeah. and baby Ed Young. Shoot, I did that in the middle of practice if I get away with it.
Xavier Lee with the free throw. One more coming from him. Now, Lee's an interesting player. He ranked top 15 in the Ivy League in 12 different Ken Palm advanced metrics at Princeton. 43 victories over 2 seasons. You guys remember it. Sweet 16 run in 2023. But at Florida, it was just about a matter of fitting in with another talented guard in that backcourt. Certainly the Gators had a lot of success down the stretch. Hats off to Todd Goldman's team trying to repeat as national champs. They got picked off by Iowa in the NCAA tournament, but they had another really talented guard in Boogie Flynn in the backcourt. So here it's a chance to show kind of how he fits in and a proving ground of sorts for him.
Indeed.
Three-point shot from deep, not going to go for Portsmouth Economic Development. Now on the push, Avila is going to try another one from deep, well behind a three-point line. That one off the back iron, and it's rebounded by Jalen Sellers, who's come in, 6'5" guard from Providence out of Columbus, Georgia. I know he's a player you're keeping a close eye on too, Charles.
Yeah, he actually plays in my hometown, and I think he was really one of the best players in the Big East. People should keep a close eye on him too.
I'm glad you said that because he was second team all Big East as the Big East scoring champ, 19.6 points per game. I know Coach Young from his all district meetings here in high school. Of course, he coached at college too at Quinnipiac, but you'd be fighting for that guy saying, come on now, he led the league in scoring. How did he get second team all conference?
So, some coaches don't know what they're doing there. If the coaches vote.
Three-point shot is buried. It's nylon. Xavier Lee with the triple as he hits it. 1,560 points and 448 assists in his college career. We got a whistle the other way. Mike Duman up 17-9. What's giving them this lead here, up by 8?
White's playing together. They're playing really good together. They're communicating. They're making plays for one another. That no one's out there doing too much. They're getting the ball up, and they're making the right play for each other.
Yeah, it really looks like it. 13-6 in the rebounding category for them, and also a 10-0 second chance points advantage so far, as we'll watch an inbound from the side now with Mo Odom. He's the 6'2" guard from the Bronx, New York. Played for not Danny Hurley, but Bobby Hurley at Arizona State University. And there's a three-point shot on the way for Sellers. He's coming cooking with 5.
That's what that young man does. It's a tough shot.
Corner 3 now. It's going to be strong for Mitchell off the back, or side of the iron, Offensive board for Anthony Roy. Here's Avila going towards the basket. There's the cut. Oh, and a ferocious jam by East Carolina's Jordan Riley. He was second in the country in scoring, 23.6 points per game. And we don't think of too many Pirates being top 5 in the nation in scoring yet.
Big fella on a steal.
Avila.
Nice lead.
I just love how he got the radars up at all times. Like Robbie
should have been an assist like the pass one. Hit the guy, cut, and he gave him a beautiful scoring pass. A lot of kids missed that thing right there.
Look at the ball movement and the flush, and you're watching the PIT with us on the spot. Norfolk 27. Don't go anywhere.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Thanks to the Auto Connection as you're watching the PIT with us all across the world on PrepSpin. Go.prepspin.com, and on the spot Norfolk 27 in the Hampton Roads community with Charles Blackwell Isler and the coach Ed Young. Matthew Hatfield here as a corner three-point shot is missed for the guys in blue. That's Portsmouth Economic Development. Trailing Mike Duman Incorporated 21-11 so far in this one. And it's going to be a handoff of Vila over to Xavier Ling. Ball movement swung over there, and the three-point shot won't go down for Anthony Roy, but the offensive board, Solomon Washington kicks it out. Three-point shot is strong for Riley. Another offensive rebound as they're just killing the glass here at this point, and the foul is drawn by Xavier Lee going right down the middle for two. I want to shout out our entire crew. I tell you what, the feedback we got from folks all across the 757 and beyond was just very flattering for everybody last year at the PIT. And a big thanks to everybody that makes this possible, from Mike Morris, who puts it on, and Cliff Sales, and all the people behind the scenes, and the folks at WGNT and WTKR, Mark Davis, Hannah Box. Also want to thank Joe Allen up here, our camera guy up top, the ones on the floor, those in the truck, William Warfield, who, by the way, had a great comp during our break. I got to give it to you guys. I know Coach is going to let it with this. How about Avila 2.0 Cherokee Parks? You remember that name from the past?
Cherokee,
that's a good
Cherokee.
one.
I remember that. I think Cherokee played in the PIT, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. I think you're right. And we were telling people earlier yesterday on our broadcast, is that three-point shot is dialed in from way downtown. How about that one from Sellers, who's having himself a heck of a first quarter with 7. But, it's interesting. You can go on Portsmouth Invitational's website. The PIT website is, of course, online at portsmouthинvitational.com. You can see all the records, all the all-time records from this event. Guys like Rick Barry, who has the scoring record. There's a dunk and transition throw down with authority.
Hit his head on the backboard?
I think he did. Isaiah Nelson, the 6'10 center from South Florida and Marietta, Georgia. Key member for the Bulls of USF, who made themselves a run to the NCAA tournament. We'll tell you more about Nelson as we roll things along here, but just the history of this event, names like John Stockton and Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, all the different players have come through over the years. It's just the alumni list is incredible from the PIT that folks can check out up there, and all the records. Charles Oakley, Derek White, Dave Callens, Earl the Pearl Monroe. The list is limitless as the rebound is collected by Washington there on that misfire. Lee with a deep three, and he knocks it down. Xavier Lee has come to play on a Thursday night in Portsmouth.
That kid, he's shifty. If he gets a little comfy, it could be a long day.
Yeah, it's like you mentioned the shiftiness, that joystick on the video game controller. He's got them on skates defensively. There's Avila with the board as he'll get it over to Lee as they slow the tempo down. I think one of the things about Avila, Ed, is they're wondering about how he's going to do as the speed of games pick up. But we know he's got a lot of skills. That's going to be one of his challenges moving forward.
Well, they talk about body conditioning. Well, if you're going to talk about that, there's a guy named the Joker in the NBA. He got one of the worst bodies in the NBA, and he's the best player in the NBA right now.
I also feel like, with Robbie, I'm not going to say he's a Luka Garza type, but I feel like Luka took some time to put into his body, and he carved out a great role, and he's a great player, I think, So Robbie can have something similar going on like that.
He had his critics certainly coming out of Iowa, had a great career in college, but some wondered how it would translate to the pro game, as there's going to be a foul before we head to the break in the second quarter. So a couple of free throws will keep it right here, as that one's going to be on Mike Duman's Xavier Lee. It's his first, and a couple of freebies now coming for Mo Odom. We mentioned him at Arizona State. He didn't get seen on the NCAA tournament stage because he played at Pacific for a couple of years, one season at Pepperdine, and then the final one at ASU. But he had 1,452 points at ASU and 705 assists, and he showed marked improvement on his shooting from three-point distance. So I think some are wondering, they know he can create for himself and others, but hasn't done a whole lot of winning. But that can change now for him moving forward. We'll see what the winning happens for him, if it does happen for him in the pro ranks, and he's going to miss the first of 2 free throws.
And there's a young man on the foul line. He's about half a foot away from that foul line. You don't normally see that.
Right, not as close to it. His second free throw's good.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah, he got the T-Mac free throw.
That's right. McGrady used to do that.
If he could carve a T-Mac career out, he'll do something.
He will.
Great.
Second quarter coming your way. Mike Duman up by 8. You're watching the 72nd annual PIT on the spot, Norfolk 27.
Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Auto Connection helping us bring to you the 72nd annual PIT, the 5th game of the 12 here. We're almost halfway home. A couple of days of games coming your way on Friday and Saturday as well, as it's Mike Duman Incorporated on top of Portsmouth Economic Development, 25-17, alongside Ed Young and Charles Blackwell Isler. Matthew Hatfield here with you, as it's an 8-point lead thanks in part to Xavier Lee's 11 from the Florida Gators for Mike Duman. Turnover here with Mo Odom getting rid of it, gets it back, and he almost hits the three, rebounded inside by Van Allen Lubin. Lee up ahead, leaking out and getting the basket. +1. It's Solomon Washington from Maryland out of New Orleans, Louisiana, who's really known for his attacks on the offensive glass in his career. 272 offensive boards over 4 seasons for Washington. This time he runs the floor, gets rewarded by Lee, and gets a deuce.
The pass. I mean, that's what Ford this game has been. Perfect lead passes to a score, and that's what's important. Them youngsters out there watching this, you don't just throw a ball to a shooter. Get it to him where you can catch it and put it right up, not play around.
And the conversion, the three-point play is there as Washington able to give Mike Duman Incorporated an 11-point lead. That's now their largest of the half. Portsmouth Economic Development has been playing chase mode the whole game from behind. We'll see if they can get on a run, though. We've seen a couple of double-figure leads evaporate in this tournament already so far, as it's A.J. Storr with the rock right now working on Lee. Off balance, and he gets the jumper to go. A.J. Storr, a guy that made 153s in his career, 311 free throws in college. He knows how to score it at a high clip and brings his team closer. Now trying to cut through the lane from the side. It's going to be a foul as Anthony Roy tried to attack off the dribble so far. But we've seen some pinpoint passing, guys. Just the unselfish plays really standing out so far in this one. We always see the dunks and the blocks that are highlight reel moments, but the passing really separating in this first half.
I actually like Duman a lot. I like Duman a lot in what they're doing with the ball. They're not playing with it. They're making plays for each other, making the right reads, and they're playing defense. Yeah, that's going the other way, that elbow.
They've had a couple of those go, offensive fouls, one on Washington, one on the field here in this first half. But outside of that, they've had a real crisp first half, to your point there, Charles. And the 20-8 edge in rebounding so far, along with 13-0 in second chance points, that drives coaches crazy, Ed.
Yeah, no question. And Duman is winning all of those stats. But I'll tell you, I've been in this tournament long enough. No lead is safe. You said it earlier, no lead is safe. Our last game, 3:30 game we had, it was a 20-point lead. And the team ended up losing by, 2 points. So you just got to keep playing. I know when I coached this, I used to tell our guys, when you're down, you're not down. You got to keep playing. You're here to be watched from start to finish. Don't worry about the scoreboard.
And here's a game of runs.
Here's a little fun fact: as Boopy Miller gets right to the basket for 2. Mr. Excitement, known as a dynamic playmaker. One of his highlight reel moments was the half-court shot he had to beat Virginia Tech back on January 14th. Hokies fans would like to forget it. But an answer back, and here comes Miller for 3. That one's off the side of the backboard.
That's a shot that Virginia Tech fans wanted to see.
By Storr, they are. But, you know, they're not going to quit over there in white, Mike Duman, Charles. You know why? They've got one of the coaches, not only Salim Stoudemire, but Gregory Ackles, and then a guy that Coach Young over here knows real well as the shot is made by A.J. Storr. Again, that's Jeremy Jordan, who Coach Young was 1-1 this year against Coach Jordan coaching at Pocosin and Ed coaching at Smithfield. Y'all had 2 fierce battles this year on the hardwood, didn't you?
Jeremy is something. He's a character. Coach Jordan is a character. I'll leave it at that. He's a character. He's a good dude, and he knows his stuff. He makes you work in a game. And I'm talking coaches, not just so much your players.
But you went on each other's floor. I just want to know, did the winner buy when y'all went to
I didn't make any bets with him.
Oh, okay. 3-point shot is knocked down. 30-23 is, take that, 33-23 is now the count, as we see that shot is knocked down by the Oklahoma State Cowboy, Anthony Roy, and then an answer right back by Wyatt Fricks for Portsmouth Economic Development. I really feel like, Charles, that the offense is starting to find itself just a little bit, piece by piece, for Portsmouth Economic Development.
Yeah, they're starting to feel each other out. You know, it's still early, and they're still learning each other. These guys, like we said earlier, they're coming from different roles, and right now, I feel like they're getting a little bit more comfortable. I think they need to step it up a little bit on defense. And as far as Mike Duman and them, I think they got to keep up this intensity and pace that they have. It's really helping them.
without question. They had those great passes in the first half and scoring ability. Xavier Lee, Robbie Avila making plays. And in the second quarter, it's been all about Boopy Miller getting in on the act here for them, the SMU Mustang, who started out his college career at Wake Forest and Central Michigan prior to SMU. We got a timeout on the floor. We'll tell you more about Boopy and others when we come back here at the PIT. You're watching On the Spot, Norfolk 27.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the Spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
We welcome you back to Churchland High School in Portsmouth, Virginia. It's the 72nd annual PIT. 64 of the top college basketball seniors from around the nation showcasing their talents in front of a slew of pro scouts, agents, general managers in the world of basketball. Right now with the Rocket is A.J. Storr for Portsmouth Economic Development. His three ball doesn't go down to pull them within 7. Instead, it's Mike Duman Incorporated collecting the board thanks to Van Allen Lubin. NC State Wolfpack, big man getting rid of it. Now Xavier Lee, who had 11 points in that opening stanza. Step back three ball.
That's tough.
Didn't fall, but Storr took that. Odom gets the rebound on the other side of the floor. Storr now has it. Odom for 3. Off the mark, and we got a foul underneath. It's going to go against Mike Duman Incorporated. And looks like this one's going to go against Van Allen Lubin. With the personal, it's going to be Van Allen Lubin.
Charge to the development's number 30, Wyatt Fricks.
Beg your pardon. Actually on Wyatt Fricks, so my mistake, and that's Fricks' third. Thought it was on Van Allen Lubin, but they called it on the other side.
It's early. He got 3. It's early.
And we watched the last game, a couple of fouls, foul-outs, in fact, in the last one that hurt in the closing minutes the Norfolk Sports Club team with Jackson Kolar and Felix Akpara from Michigan State and Tennessee, respectively, and a missed shot underneath. Van Allen Lubin affecting that one defensively. Here comes Boopy Miller the other way. Fall-away shot from the right side of the floor. Offensive rebound collected. Shot fake, one dribble, 3 ball. Anthony Roy connects.
Duman's taking some good shots too. Like the quality of shots they're taking, I feel like that's why they have a comfortable league right now.
They're making that second, sometimes third pass in the clock.
Yes.
And a lot of times, PED, Portsmouth Economic Development, it's pass, shot. And that's not, I'm saying they're not bad shots, it's just quick shots and they're not hitting them.
Yeah, their pace is totally different. But they're still feeling each other out. It's still early.
And now ball's loose. Portsmouth Economic Development getting over to Wyatt Fricks, who's got the foul trouble, stayed in from Lawrenceville, Georgia, and it's going to stay with the boys in blue as they'll inbound from the side with a substitution. Actually, a couple of subs look like they're coming in. Avila's going to come back in for the men in white from Mike Duman Incorporated. We also will see, I believe, Fricks is going to take a seat with those 3 fouls. No, he's going to stay in. And we're going to actually watch Devin McLaughlin come out, the Vanderbilt forward.
NBA rule 6 fouls you out, not 5 at the college level, 6. And we are playing with a 24-second clock NBA.
Yep.
Fall-away shot from the right doesn't go down. Rebounded by Miller. Pull-up shot, transition. Roy gets the rebound for Mike Duman. Oh, the pass just goes whizzing by Wyatt Fricks. Not sure he was ready for the speed on that delivery.
Tough pass.
Tough pass a little bit behind him.
Yeah.
Now that's your definition of a non-scoring pass. He got it to him, it hit him, but it was a little bit behind and off his shoulder
Yeah,
as
he made
opposed to front.
He made the right read. I think it should have been a bounce pass maybe. It was a little bit too much mustard on that.
Right. Or throw just a little bit earlier. He would have ran right into it.
Xavier Lee checking out, so now Avila's going to do some of the initiating of the offense, or facilitating, if you will, to go with Miller. Miller's got it with the left-handed dribble. Thought about a three, and then he meant to make a bounce pass, and his guys were not located where he thought they'd be. Riley and Roy were in different spots on the floor.
Only guy to catch that would be the referee, and he let it go too.
Yeah.
Just a little miscommunication right now.
I was just going to say that, Matt.
We've seen so much of that in this first half for Mike Doom. I took that for Portsmouth Partnership and trailing Mike Dooman by 13. But here's another missed shot, empty possession for PED, and it's going to be a foul as that one will go against Roy as we have a little more than 4 minutes to go in the first half. And we'll see who can be that guy that provides a jolt for either side, whether it's Mike Dooman to pull away even more comfortably or for Portsmouth Economic Development to chop into this deficit and make this more competitive as we near halftime. And inbounding from the side, we'll see Mark Mitchell over the outstretched arms of Quadir Copeland. Copeland had that good start, a couple of points, 3 assists, and haven't heard from him a whole lot since there. And here's a three-point shot from the side. It's Mitchell unable to get it to fall, and Odom comes away with it. Copeland now between the legs. Oh, a little no-look pass. Oh, that was...
Got the assist with it.
And see, that's the stuff I'm talking about
He
with
got
him.
the assist with it. He just, little dribble, little shake and spake, and then a quick zip it to the left. He saw him out of the corner of his eye.
That open space, he gets a little bit tricky.
street ball-esque, if you will, almost that type of...
Indeed.
Underneath the rejection.
Great
It's
defense.
going to go roll out of play, and we'll see if that's the play that ends up igniting them. As you see the triple that's buried from Mo Odom out of ASU, 194 threes in his collegiate career.
All the teams in this tournament, they have 8 players. Coaches do a pretty good job of trying to give everybody equal time, so everybody gets looked at.
Copeland to Odom again on that triple that you watched moments ago, as now we go back to the action. Here's a steal on the break. It's Mitchell. Former Blue Devil and Mizzou Tiger has it blocked from behind by Wyatt Fricks, who's still out there
Fricks is
hustling and
everywhere.
bustling. You know, he hurt some of the ODU fans that are in attendance here and watching at home, wherever they are. Late bloomer had that 28.3 block effort back on February 24th when they beat the Monarchs 97-88. 3 double-doubles, and maybe his best game, though, was the 34.9 rebound performance in a win over Elon. Basket's good, plus a foul, as that one is going to be scored inside by Van Allen Lubin. It went off the noggin of one Isaiah Nelson.
That is tough right there.
Yeah, he got him. At first, I didn't think so. I watched it on the replay. He bumped him.
Yeah.
Referees do a pretty good job. Now, they do let them play. Sometimes you got to define what does that mean. There's some bumping and grinding going on, but it's not called, which is what you're going to get in most pro leagues anyway. So see how they handle it.
Van Allen Lubin with 6 points. Now you can make it 7 because he cashes in the free throw.
Full court pressure now.
That inbound right in front of our camera operator and our good friend Ray Wittersheim, a.k.a. the Juice Man. He's a big-time ODU supporter. Good to see him in attendance tonight. One of the many, many that have come out from this PIT over the years. And we got an inbound from the side with A.J. Storr over to Quadir Copeland. 13-point deficit for Portsmouth Economic Development. Glad you're with us watching on Prep Spin and also with us on the spot, Norfolk 27, WGNT and Hampton Roads. That one's going to go out of play. Turnover back.
Now, I think that right there, Coach, was a great look. I don't think Frick's hands were ready.
Right.
I don't think they were in the right position.
And again, it's unfamiliarity with them. That's the whole thing what it is.
Timeout on the floor. We'll take 1-2. More to come. You're watching on the spot, Norfolk 27.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Back here at Churchton High School, the 72nd Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament featuring Mike Duman Incorporated in the white uniforms, inbounding the basketball with Mark Mitchell out of Missouri. And they have the 13-point lead on the fellas in blue from Portsmouth Economic Development. There's a steal inside, and the dunk is delivered, thrown down by Isaiah Nelson out of South Florida. A guy that was third-team All-Sunbelt with 10 double-doubles at Arkansas State. And my goodness, the thing that jumps off the page about him, 1,386 points in his career, 1,048 rebounds, but 403 offensive rebounds in his college career. And he's a guy that has that mean-looking face. When he means business, he means business.
He looks like he's hungry right now. They look like they're playing with a little bit of sense of urgency, too, right after that timeout. Just the energy real quick. Hopefully they can stay with that.
So now it's Mitchell at the line to shoot a couple.
Interesting, guys, coming out of that timeout. Portsmouth Economic Development turned the pressure up on D, pressing all over. I think they got away with a couple jersey holds, but it didn't matter. They got their hands on the ball. If they continue to do that, they'll get this thing under 10 by halftime.
Second foul shot also good. Copeland at the controls. Miller giving up some inches in terms of height to Copeland. 6'6" versus 6 foot tall. We'll see if Copeland can use that size to his advantage here. He's going to draw a foul on the smaller yet shifty Miller, a guy that went over 2,000 points in his career. Did Boopy when SMU lost to Miami of Ohio in that first 4 game. And guys, we were talking about it off air earlier after our last game ended, that Shammond Williams and Jordan Maka got to call with me. How about the show that Miami of Ohio's Peter Suter put on the last game? Was he something else or what?
He was all net. When he was scoring, it was all net, no rim.
Probably if you were to do an early, Charles, all PIT tournament team, which they do at the conclusion of this event, you would think he's going to be one of the leaders in the clubhouse as we're almost 2 nights through this thing. Could be. I mean, think about it's early to say who's going to be in that all PIT team, but to have the game he did, if he has one more like it, I think he's going to probably have himself a spot on it. Here's a long miss, and Miller gets the rebound. Boopy into the front court on the run. Miller for 3 in the corner. Doesn't go down. Rebounded by Portsmouth Economic Development. Over to the wing, 3-point shot. Oh, it's good on another long-distance connection.
And I spoke about this with Coach earlier. He's a capable shooter. I think early on in his career, he was from the 3 he wasn't that efficient, but he's capable of shooting now. I think that Boopy's backing off that, and he's like, okay, let me show you something.
I equate it to what we saw earlier. It's funny you bring it up, Charles, with what we talked about with Toby Lawal, Ed. I mean, you see a guy that does so many other great things, and you see that maybe that's a deficiency you think in his game, and now players like a Lawal from Virginia Tech or Copeland like NC State, they'll take that on and say, I'm going to take that as a challenge to me to go prove you wrong.
Right. But if you haven't worked on it, you can expose your weakness in here. You got to get off the court and go work on that stuff over the offseason.
This is true.
Inside, working against the defender, unable to get to finish. David Green trying to score it on Solomon Washington as we near a minute left in this opening period. Here's Xavier Lee over to Robbie Avila in the corner. 3-point shot for Washington, and it's money.
Oh, my God. They're passing the ball like,
Solomon Washington.
I don't know, like the Spurs back in the day.
Like I said, they're really finding the right guy. And if he's not open, they'll make that second, third pass.
Left-handed dribble in front of the bench. Another long-range jumper. This one is canned by A.J. Storr. As Portsmouth Economic Development not going away. They're actually going to call that a long 2, not a 3, it looks like. As Lee's going to bounce it inside. Double team comes, and then the pass goes whizzing by the intended target as Mitchell could not get the connection from Washington.
Yeah, Portsmouth Economic, they are making some tough shots, I won't lie. They're putting themselves in some tough situations and making some tough shots.
Double-digit advantage for Mike Duman as Copeland's got it using the screen there.
I like how he read that. Ooh.
And it's going to be a foul underneath as the referee was just trying to get himself out of the way.
He was out of control.
And it will go the other direction here.
Yeah, foul was on. It was on Portsmouth Economic Development.
Yeah.
I didn't get the number.
It was on, I believe it was on Quadir. He went downhill, had the guy in the shell, and went up for that layup, but followed through into the defender after.
That was their chance to get it under 10. It looks like that won't happen. Well, 30 seconds to go. Let's see what happens.
Well, if he hits both free throws and they come down and hit a three-pointer.
One more free throw.
Let's just see the replay of that. I think they're actually going to call. Yeah, they're going to call it one on Copeland. We'll see what.
Yeah, it was at the rebound.
We'll see what the.
Loose ball foul. Yep.
Official tally on is for total fouls in a second. As we see Copeland now on the move. They're updating the stat fields to see it, but Copeland with a little bully ball action going right to the rack for 2.
21 seconds left.
Xavier Lee going to try to get his team the final shot of the quarter with the shot clock turned off. Lee over to Robbie Avila. Open in the dunker spot right there for the flush is Mark
I think that was
Mitchell.
an and one.
Mark Mitchell, the assist.
Great read.
So one more shot coming for Copeland. Spin move to beat the buzzer. A little hesitation on the 3 and it's short, but we go to halftime with Mike Duman up by 11. They have not trailed in this one, and we've got more action coming your way. Some interviews too. You're watching On the Spot, Norfolk 27.
37. Ladies and gentlemen, your attention.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
So good to hear some interviews during the half as Mark Davis caught up with both Norfolk State men's basketball coach Robert Jones and Christopher Newport University men's basketball coach John Krikorian. We're back here for third quarter action to get underway at the 72nd annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. 64 of the top college basketball seniors from around the nation on display this week. Mike Duman Incorporated on top of Portsmouth Economic Development 48-37 with Charles Blackwell Isler and the coach Ed Young, Matthew Hatfield here as they're watching the action with us all week long on Prep Spin. And on the spot, Norfolk 27 is inside. The shot is no good for Van Allen Lubin. And the rebound comes to PED, Portsmouth Economic Development. Your thoughts on the first half, fellas, and the stats there? What stood out to you?
To be honest, the free throw attempts. Mike Duman has been really aggressive as a team in making plays and then getting to the line. I also believe that the turnovers for, Portsmouth Economic, and they got to protect the ball. I also feel like the rebound. I mean, you control the rebound, you control the game in many different ways, and offensively and defensively, they're everywhere. So those are some things that stood out to me.
Yeah, good points on that. About 11 assists on 15 made field goals for Mike Duman, and a 9-point spread at this point. And Xavier Lee, one of those guys that helped get Mike Duman that lead with 11 points, all coming in the first quarter. None in the second quarter. There's Boopy Miller getting fouled along the sideline. They were trying to get him out of bounds. Devin McLaughlin there, a guy that had over 1,000 points and 859 rebounds in his college career, but they catch him with the personal.
And our guy, Robbie Avila, Matt, 4 assists, tied for the game high.
Indeed.
Showing that distributing skill set he has, and it's going to be another foul underneath. In that first half of play, we saw a lot of superb passes on the court from both sides. Kadir Copeland had 4 to go with his 7 points for Portsmouth Economic Development. And this is going to be an inbound from the side.
And you'd like to see that. In a tournament like this, where you have so much individuality, passing high in assists is something to really hope for.
I mentioned the interviews with Coach Jones and Coach Krikorian at the break. A couple of former ACC coaches in attendance in the stands as Van Allen Lubin got the hoop. Will Wade, formerly of NC State, watching a couple of his ex-Wolfpack players there, and Van Allen Lubin and Copeland. Now at LSU is Will Wade, and then also in attendance is former Georgia Tech coach and NBA guard Damon Stoudemire. Maybe our cameras will catch them as we move the action along here in the second half. But another good turnout here on this Thursday evening at the PIT. There's Boopy Miller pushing it up the floor, driving in from the corner. 3-point shot from the wing.
Might have got away with a travel there.
No good for Washington. Now a 3-pointer again for Roy, and that one's on the money. Anthony Roy knocking it down from deep as Mike Duman extends its lead to 14. Jump pass over there to kick in the corner. Another 3-point shot. This one doesn't go down, and the rebound for Mike Duman Incorporated. Solomon Washington getting that board. So many different players stepping up for them in this game. That's why they've kept them at bay throughout the night. Going right to the 10, but drawing the foul. You see the tough take once again from one of the guards for Mike Duman, as that one is going to be created by Anthony Roy, the former Oklahoma State Cowboy guard who's been known as a prolific 3-point shooter, but he's a natural 2 guard. Had that fractured ankle after 11 games at Green Bay, but he's really rebounded nicely from that as an individual scorer and really becoming more of a playmaker too off the bounce.
He's actually standing out this game. I actually like how he's been playing. He's been everywhere, Matt. He's been everywhere.
I saw somewhere, and I had to look it up. He is the brother of Brandon Roy. Remember Brandon Roy, NBA?
Yeah.
Portland Trailblazers, great player, but injuries really derailed his career.
And we see that so many times at the PIT when players have those bloodlines. We mentioned it earlier with Tyson, Hunter Tyson, Cade Tyson, the event. And Roy was an all-star player with the Blazers for quite a few seasons. And there's another long-range connection, and it's Copeland dialing it up to make it a 13-point gap. He's the first double-figure scorer tonight for Portsmouth Economic Development. 2 so far for Mike Duman, and Roy with 14, and with Lee having the 11. Now it's Poopy Miller trying to get closer to double digits, and he cans that one to give him 7 points on the night to go with his 6 rebounds.
Just a great read. They're playing for each other. I feel like they are really playing for each other.
Right, and those are the teams that usually play in the championship Saturday night. Your crowds are bigger on Friday night, Saturday night. Wednesday, Thursday, it's opening rounds, but Friday and Saturday, it picks up.
There's Poopy Miller with the basketball. Over to Roy. Driving with the left hand, can't get the finish. Rebounded by Copeland.
Man, Frick's been everywhere on defense.
Bounce up ahead.
Great
and
pass.
The finish is good, and Green gets it to go.
And those are the passes Mike Duman was making last half. And I like that Blues getting it up.
That's a beautiful 30-foot bounce pass. A lot of coaches don't like the bounce pass, especially to guys that are moving towards the bucket, but that was perfectly timed. It came right up into his hands. Again, I keep saying it, it's a scoring pass. The receiver catches it and lays it right in.
So free throws now. Let's say a free throw now, and it's good for David Green, the guy that helped Eric Conkle's Tulsa team reach the NIT final. He played 4 seasons at Louisiana Tech in Rhode Island and scored over 1,000 points there before concluding the deal at Tulsa. First-team All-AAC performer. David Green, who can really shoot it and has good size, might be a small ball 4-man in a sense, but his know-how gets him through in often cases. And we see this one resulting in a chance to get Portsmouth Economic Development closer here with the possession. 13-point game. Inside. Oh, how about the turn and the delivery as it's Nelson with the rim-rattling slam.
Oh, my God.
Hello. 58-47.
You know, that's a young fellow I think has the best athleticism in this game, but he hasn't shown it enough.
Yeah.
There, he showed it.
And he just did defensively by deflecting it, creating a turnover, and there's Wyatt Fricks with the layup.
And the pass.
You know, Nelson, there's no question about his talent. I go back to, SEC schools wanted him after he left Arkansas State. He had a 30-20 game in SBC play in the Sun Belt, 11 offensive rebounds in under 30 minutes in a game. It's not a question about talent. I guess some are wondering about, off the court. Has he got everything to go there? And like you said, can he do it all the time here? There's been some moments where he doesn't show it, and he's just going to have to show that he is that guy all the time and is dependable in areas of foul. But he's one that when you watch him, he does some things that you can't teach or other guys just can't do.
A guy that is going way back, but he reminds me body structure. Dominique Wilkins, a long time ago from Atlanta Hawks. Same kind of body structure, same kind of hops. But what he doesn't show you a lot, and we all look for it, is that motor, the proverbial motor, where he uses that athleticism continually throughout the game.
And it's funny that you mentioned his name. That dunk he did, I almost wanted to name it the Slammer Jam or something that they used to do back in the day. Like that was a rim rocking jam.
It's a rim rock. It was a twist. It was a unique twist. And
Chocolate
I started
Thunder.
thinking Dominique, unique twist, baby.
Yeah. The human highlight film. I have to give a shout out, not because he's just coming up on our podcast this weekend, Ed, but to Dominique Wilkins. He does games for the Atlanta Hawks where he was a star with Bob Rathbun, who pay homage to Bob, who was a longtime broadcaster for this event and was a TV broadcaster in this Hampton Roads market for WTKR for many, many years. Bob, one of the very best. We're looking forward to catching up with him. But I was joking, having exchanged some messages before the event with Bob. He's like, see if we have some future Atlanta Hawks at this event. You never know. We do have some guys from last year's event like Kobe Sanders, Jemai Mashak, and Julian Reese among those that reached NBA rosters here this season as the Hawks get ready for our first-round NBA playoff series against the New York Knicks coming up this weekend as we got a foul with just over 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, 11-point lead. Mike Duman in front here.
My players get mad at me when I talk about a Dominique Wilkins, Will Chamberlain. Coach, do those guys play when there were strings in the ball? I said, man, go look it up. Dominique Wilkins would tear everybody up in a dunk contest now in the NBA. Not at his age now, but back in the day.
Here's the floater, but the follow by Nelson, who's starting to get his fingerprints on this game, and his fingerprints, they're pretty big, and they're going to make a mark. Avila with the right-hand dribble.
Villa's paces.
He's got that slow-mo game, does Avila, and it can be very discouraging and bothersome to those that have to defend him because they say, like we talked about the body structure, you can't be doing this to me. And he says, yeah, I can. I'll yawn through it. 4:50 to go in the third quarter. No yawning now. We've got more basketball action coming your way as we watch the replay, and it's here from Churchland. You're watching On the Spot, Norfolk 27.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the Spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Mike Duman Incorporated's biggest lead was 16. It's been shaved almost in half to 9, 60-51 with 4:50 to go in the third quarter as Robbie Avila will shoot the free throws for Mike Duman Incorporated.
Avila at the line with 2 shots.
So far tonight, Avila with more assists than points, but now that is no longer the case because he matches his 4 dimes with his 4th point of the contest.
You know what I've noticed about him, if we remember watching him during the season, either in Indiana State or St. Louis, he did score. He's a big scorer. But it looks like in this game, he's showing he can see the court.
Yes.
So he knows, hey, I'm going to try to show some things people have not really seen me do.
Well, and going back to that scoring thing, it actually took a dip this past season. He averaged 17.3 points per game 2 seasons ago to 12.8 this year. But like what you're saying here, he's able to do other things. He made more threes this season. It went from 35.9%, 56 makes, to 41%, 66 conversions. So his efficiency went up even though his scoring went down.
And I also say, I'm sure he had better people around him at St. Louis than he did Indiana State. So it's not that he got worse, it's just he had more scores around him.
Well, it didn't help it doesn't hurt when he goes in the portal and he gets some of those guys that were his teammates and his coach too. So.
Yes. Oh, you know that coach took him with him.
But like you said, it's the roles and the fit. You know, I think he went over there and made a big difference for that program. And even when he was in Indiana, they played really good with him out there as their lead guy. So he's just showing you a different side of his game.
And when I'm watching him on defense, if you pull him out, and this is where his weakness is, can he guard the big man who can take it to the hole, his lateral movement, and if he stays back, come and get me, and that dude can hit those outside shots, now you're going to say, well, where do we play him?
Yeah.
His slow lateral movement to get to the bucket, or he lays back and guys are hitting outside shots. Those are things that have to be determined over the next few months.
And Xavier Lee hits a couple of free throws, had 11 points in the first quarter, went quiet in the second, but able to increase the advantage to 13 now for Mike Duman. Portsmouth Economic Development moving the basketball. Here's a three-point shot for Fricks, and it's good. Marshall thundering herd forward, able to strike.
Is that his first 3 of the game?
That is Wyatt Fricks converting for the first time after going 0 for 6 to open this one. Shot is delivered through on that one. Van Allen Lubin adds to his totals, now up to 13.
Duman has done a great job of keeping it 10, 11, 12, 13-point range.
Off the bounce, triple try for Odom. It won't fall, and now Xavier Lee, cross-court pass.
Good read.
But the rebound there, getting up off the floor, Fricks was battling that foul trouble with 4. Here's a three-pointer for Sellers, no good, rebounded by Lee. Nearly got fouled there by David Green. Lee with a little toss over to a teammate, and it's Roy for 3, and it's going to spin around and spin out. That one was almost down. There's Fricks with a block.
Toilet bowl.
And a stop. And a missed shot underneath, but the rebound as they hustle back for the offensive putback with David Green, his stick back. making a 10-point margin here, 66-56. Here's Lee for three. Yes.
Yeah, he's been making some tough shots off the
Tell you,
dribble.
I'm impressed with Lee's shooting.
We mentioned it with the Florida Gators. They had a heck of a second half of the season. Really, I think it took him a little while to go from that Ivy League to the SEC, but
That's a jump.
Yeah.
That's a jump from Ivy League to SEC. That's cultural shock jump there.
Well, it's, again, we talked about it so much, something we brought up earlier with Jordan and also yesterday with Shaman and James. And look, you play with different talented guys on your team of a caliber, and then you're also facing a different competition level. So it's almost a twofold adjustment, how you deal with them and then how you deal with what you're facing.
Indeed.
Right. In the portal, you have guys that low level play great, they move up. And some of them do almost as good at that level. And you wonder, well, maybe they got under-recruited. But then you have some guys that dominate a lower level, jump in the portal, get taken by a higher team, but they never get close to the stats they had delivered earlier. Yeah. So you got to be careful where you're playing. Back in the day, you transferred because you wanted to play more. Of course, now it's about transferring for money.
They might have got away with the travel there.
Missed shot and another chance for Portsmouth Economic Development to slice into this deficit.
Oh.
Almost did with a three, but Avila gets the rebound. Up ahead, Lee. 3-on-1 chance, and an alley-oop highlight reel jam. Jordan Riley with the emphatic dunk.
Wow.
The dunk of the day-to-day, from what I've seen, that was the dunk.
Oh, we'll have to see that on replay again.
He's not
That was
6'8" either.
Special.
That was tough.
That's a 6'5" guy, and he got up.
We see why he's been described as crazy athletic by scouts.
And, Coach, I thought that was going to another guy. He, no-looked it to him.
Well, if it was, it didn't matter because he decided I'm taking this one because he was coming downhill for it. He's built like a cornerback in football.
Yeah, he is cut.
Inside, his shot is good. Feathery touch as David Green is able to get it done. 71-61. Lee with the basketball. Avila throws a lob, and now it's going to be jammed home. That one by Mark Mitchell.
I think Mitchell was trying to get that last lob, so now he said, all right, I'm going to get mine now.
That's what I was saying.
Because that's what I think you mentioned, Charles. Somebody, it looked like it was supposed to go to somebody else.
I'll tell you what, though, if Jordan Riley's in the vicinity, you better get out of the way because you're going to get posterized. Lee gets the board on that one that spun out.
What's interesting, too, is how Robbie set that up. He looked like he was going to score from the post and lobbed it over the rim.
Right, yes.
As we head to break, let's watch it again. Lee to Riley. And
That's
it's thrown down. Oh, it's the PIT. Coming out all week long. Great action. And you're watching On the Spot, Norfolk 27 with our friends at Prep Spin. Boom, shakalaka.
Yeah.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the Spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Timeout on the floor is now over. 48.4 seconds to go, and it's Mike Duman on top by 12 against Portsmouth Economic Development. And during that break, Charles, you were talking about it with Coach Young, Jeremy Jordan over there down on the knee. And Ed, you got a great nickname for him, one of your Bay Rivers District coaching counterparts.
It's the professor. He's calculating. I'm surprised he don't wear a white robe during the games.
I love it. There's a foul. It's committed by Mo Odom and Salim Stoudemire and Gregory Eccles also on that coaching staff with him. And I see just on the bench there, you see Eccles talking with Boopy Miller as he's giving him a couple words of advice. Check that's Stoudemire rather, I think, talking with him, giving him a couple
Boopy Miller's saying, what the heck did Jordan just write down on the clipboard? What's he talking about? We didn't run that many plays at SMU.
And it's a free throw now, first of 2 for Anthony Roy. Roy is one of those guys he can get on a hot streak. Nearly 17 points per contest for the Cowboys, and 90 made threes at 39% this past season. 75-61, up by 14. Copeland trying to get some guys in different positions. Little shake and bake. 3 at the top of the key for Copeland off the back iron. No good. Tapped that as the rebound. Avila gets it for Mike Duman. And now they'll look to get perhaps the final shot off in the quarter with the shot clock and game clock nearly identical. Here's Lee. Passes over to the right. Riley, that guy that threw down the amazing dunk, doesn't get it to go, and up ahead it gives a chance for Portsmouth Economic Development, and it's going to be Copeland beating the horn at the other end, so that's going to give a little bit of life to the men in blue. We'll see if that gives them a chance for a run. 12-point game in the fourth quarter is coming your way next on Prep Spin, and you're watching On the Spot Norfolk 27.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the Spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
With Charles Blackwell Isler and Coach Ed Young, Matthew Hatfield here for you as the fourth quarter is about to commence with Mike Duman Incorporated on top of Portsmouth Economic Development at the 72nd Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament. The winner moves on to Friday's semifinals at 8 o'clock against the winner of our last game, which saw the Portsmouth Partnership squad outlast Norfolk Sports Club 77-73 behind 24 points from Miami of Ohio's Peter Suter. Earlier today in the consolation game, it was Sales Systems beating Rounds Landscaping 94-90 as they had 5 double-figure scores led by Virginia Tech's Toby Lawal with 19 and Grand Canyon's Jaden Henley with 19 as well, as this is going to be the last chance here for Portsmouth Economic Development to really get themselves in a groove to put them in position for a rally as they have the basketball now, looking to get that offense revved up after that stop on the wing. It's Copeland. Trying to drive in. Little head fake, and he draws the foul. Really clever play. Oh, they call it travel. I thought that was a foul.
Wow,
guys,
I did too. I did too.
We'll see if we get a second look at that. But at first glance, there it is. You see the bump, and they say he moved before the bump. It looked like it was bang on that quick little snap of the replay. Here it is again. We'll slow it down for you. Great job by our team that struck in. Yeah, he did move.
It did slide.
He did slide it. It was just the late call of it is what happened. So when we saw it on that.
It was late, but it was a great call.
It was the correct call, absolutely. 12-point game here with 8:59 to go in regulation. We've not had an overtime contest yet.
And we're not having one tonight. There's a rule, 10 o'clock, no overtime.
Well, it's 9:56 Eastern. So.
Well, there's an unwritten rule in this long time tournament. No overtime at 10 o'clock. Not on a work night, school night. Nope.
Weeknight. You can have it on Friday or Saturday.
Friday, Saturday, and go to midnight. That's right.
There's a steal for Lee. On the break. Lee will try a three. That went off the side of the rim. Rebounded in blue for Portsmouth Economic Development. McLaughlin had it. The right hand going baseline. A couple of head fakes with the double team. Kick out. Ball movement swinging around the perimeter, and there's a shot from the corner that's off the mark and a rebound for Solomon Washington as Mike Duman comfortably in control of this one with Boopy Miller at the controls of their offense. Still looking for our first field goal of this fourth quarter. Here's Lee going right down the middle, and he's going to draw a foul, so we won't get our first field goal of this quarter just yet, but we will get two more free throws for Xavier Lee, who's going to try to break the game-high scoring honors he shares with his teammate Anthony Roy. Both have 16 at the moment. And it looks like we got a timeout before those free throws will be attempted. So stick around. Fourth quarter action continues on, and we've got 3 games coming your way Friday and 4 on Saturday at the PIT. You're watching On the Spot, Norfolk 27.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the Spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
On Verizon Fios channel 506, Cox channel 44, Prep Spin. We're glad you're tuned in with us here tonight and hopefully all week long for the 72nd annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament, where Mike Duman Incorporated extends its lead against Portsmouth Economic Development. 76-63 is the tally after Xavier Lee makes the first 2 free throws. The Princeton transfer, who suited up with the Florida Gators this past year, knocking them both down. And there's the inbound to Mo Odom out of the Bronx, New York, with the basketball, working on Boopy Miller. Chicago, Illinois.
Boopy's everywhere.
You know, a lot of pride for those two guys from the Bronx and Chicago. It's a lot of basketball legends in those cities.
Foul charge to number 10, Boopy Miller. That's his 5th.
It's Boopy Miller's 5th personal foul. So going back to when you coached this event, Ed Young, did you think a whole lot about the foul-out situation on that bench, or even your assistants? It could be the NBA, WNBA assistant compadres. What's going through the mind here? Is it's just so it's not like an NBA playoff game or NCAA tournament game or even a high school championship playoff game. It's just let the kids play, let the guys play.
Well, if they got 3 or 4 fouls first half, we take them out because we don't want them to go out early.
Yeah.
We want to get them to play. And back then we didn't have the NBA coaches on the sideline. And
Oh, my God, good read.
Oh, the basket.
There goes your man. There goes your man, Coach.
That's what we got to get. That's what you got to get. But yeah, you know,
setting that up.
we would tell the kids, you know, don't go crazy. I used to get asked, hey, they having foul outs in the tournament? I said, yeah, they're going to have foul outs in the tournament.
Yeah, otherwise someone would just keep hacking, right?
Right, they're not going to just let you hack. We're not playing playground ball now, come on.
Washington with the bucket, and that's the 4th foul on the defender, McLaughlin.
And I believe Robbie leads the game in assists.
McLaughlin is the only guy in this game yet to score, by the way, from Vanderbilt, which is interesting because he scored over 1,000 in his career there.
Well, you know.
He did put up 9.5 this past year, so it wasn't like he was a big-time scorer for the Commodores, who had a lot of balance. But
Well, at halftime, he'd had, what, 1 shot. So if you're not getting a lot of opportunities, you're not going to probably get a chance to score.
Mike Newman foul charged to number 23, Solomon Washington. That's his second.
Second personal on Washington as Copeland goes to the line for a pair.
Woody Copeland with 2 shots.
And I would say we're looking pretty safe on your proclamation here, unless the barrage of threes go down for Portsmouth Economic Development, who are only 6 of 31 from long distance on the night. But, Ed, I think your proclamation we won't have an overtime game is looking pretty safe here.
Yeah, you can, what did Barkley say, guarantee it?
Yeah, I think the Chuckster has used that a couple of times. But don't hit no button that sends us off the air or turns the lights off. We don't need that. He's that little buzzer and things fall from the studio there as it's Boopy Miller with the basketball for Portsmouth Economic Development. Using the screen by Avila, who's going to pop out. A little pop out for him, and a 3-point shot doesn't fall. Rebound for Green, and they needed that one badly. And now Copeland gives them a chance to maybe put some game pressure and say, hold on, folks, you're talking too early about no overtime. I want to keep this thing going and make it tight. Copeland hits the deck, though, as he gets rid of it. Up top to Fricks for 3. Here comes the run now. 11-point game. And now Mike Newman's going to have to make some plays to prevent this from getting very interesting in the final moments. Going baseline. Xavier Lee over to Boopy Miller, and the layup is there for the SMU Mustang guard, who's up to 9 points and 7 boards.
Beautiful face cut straight into the bucket, and Lee found him going away.
I got an interesting stat about Boopy this game, man. He got 7 rebounds. 7 rebounds.
From a guard, yeah. How about Xavier Lee? And now he's in some pain.
Oh, man. Hope he's all right.
That was a scary fall there as he had that dunk, and hitting that hard floor can be dangerous as we see Miller find Xavier Lee, who goes up, and he got hit in the facial area, and then the fall there as he was
fell right on his face, almost
the
foul by Storr.
The fall looked like he was going to fold the wrong way. Watch when he comes down. Goes up, and he folds.
Yeah, bad angle for him.
Just landed on his
Very,
head.
very fortunate it was not worse than what it looked like. As you see, there's that still angle as he nearly hit face first. He hits the side of his face there.
Was able to brace himself just a bit.
Braced himself just enough. You're absolutely right, Charles. Otherwise, that could have been a really ugly situation. We might have had a long injury delay, but we're so glad it was not as bad as it initially looked as Lee hits the free throw. It's a 16-point game.
You got to give it to him. He's tough as nails. I'm sorry to cut. He's tough as nails for that.
He is.
Yeah, he did. I thought he'd come out, but he didn't. And it was not a dirty play by.
No.
Who was that on the foul? 21?
That was Storr.
Yeah, it was. He just be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
It just fell awkwardly there. And it's going to be Avila for 3. No good. Avila's had a rough shooting night, 1 for 7. He has done other things well. Those passing skills certainly on display. Here's a corner 3 for Fricks. Short, and the rebound to Miller. Like you said, Charles, those rebounds from the little guy who's known to be an electric scorer. And here's an assist potentially. No, that 3 from Lee's not there, but the offensive follow is for Solomon Washington with the dunk and a timeout, I do believe, unless it's it's just a warning there. There it is again, the follow on that missed shot, and Washington able to throw it down. Bouncing wing body who invites and embraces contact, and that time he just was invited to the dunk party.
He had his own right there.
On baseline, the left hand drawing the foul. It's going to be Jalen Sellers from Providence out of Columbus, Georgia, a guy who finished 4th in the Big 12 in scoring at nearly 16 per game in 2024. Jalen Sellers, who was at UCF, played his first 2 seasons at Ball State, but we saw him really do a lot in that first quarter Charles, but he has not scored since the first quarter when he had 7. Now he has with his first point of the second half.
Yeah, indeed. And I feel like in the first half he played pretty well. I think in about, 7 to 9 minutes for that half, he was really efficient. But he probably didn't get a rhythm this second half. And
he's what I call a system player. Whatever offense you're running and it's convenient for everybody to get something out of it, he does well. When you're doing one-on-one stuff or one-on-two stuff, he doesn't shine as much because he's not getting the ball. So what he's capable of doing in a system is much better than what he does individually.
Now, I know he's a player that's happy to be healthy because he's had some nagging injuries, foot injury, back injury during his college career, and I know some have labeled him more that shot maker than playmaker, but Chance, we'll see how he rebounds from this tonight as far as if his team is unable to get a rally to come back and win, as they'll be in the consolation game if they are to lose, and then a game on Saturday. So it'll be 3 games in 3 days. It's always the tricky thing. The teams that lose on Thursday, even more than the teams that lose on Wednesday, it's not the matter of 3 games in 4 days or the back-to-back, but you play 3 straight days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at that point. That can be taxing on the body, especially come Saturdays. It's going to be A.J. Storr on the move, kicks it out. Sellers for a 3. A little strong on it. Rebound is pulled in by Mitchell, and Avila's got it. Didn't have it for long because Raleigh gets it back, the one who had perhaps the dunk of the night. And it's back to Portsmouth Economic Development in blue and going right to the 10. Count it, plus the foul. Jalen Sellers with a chance for 3.
it's a tough take, way to be aggressive. And that's how Mike Duman was playing earlier. They were getting to the line, being effective. Everyone was playing for each other. So this is the kind of pace they kind of need.
And we see right there a layup and a 1.
And I'm sure the Portsmouth Economic Development coaches said at halftime, fellas, been to the line twice this whole half. We got to fix that in the second half, which they have. It's just they've been operating from a deficit of at least a dozen points throughout the second half.
So the foul on Mitchell,
1 free throw.
his 3rd, and now Sellers with a chance to get the 3-point play completed, which he does. Again, our action starts at 3:30 Eastern on Friday, and that will feature Norfolk Sports Club against the one that comes up short in this game. Winner of this one will take on Portsmouth Partnership in a semifinal at 8 o'clock on Friday. Our other semifinal is set for tomorrow at 6 o'clock with Janet King against Portsmouth Sports Club. Excuse me, I think I said Portsmouth Partnership will be taking on the winner of this game. Portsmouth Partnership will take on the winner of this game in the semifinals at 8 o'clock tomorrow, whereas it's Portsmouth Sports Club facing Janet King tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern. 4 minutes and 38 seconds to go in regulation. Missed 3 inside there.
Ooh.
Offensive board and putback with Isaiah Nelson able to get the...
Coach, I thought he was going to get on that rim real quick.
Yeah, I want to see more of that. He needs to pick it up a little bit more his remaining games. He's talented. He's got it. He just got to get a little bit more involved.
Mike Duman, the kick out. 3-point shot for Mitchell. It's buried. Oh, it's a long 2 that's buried. It looked like he had a 3, but the foot was on the line. 13-point lead, and then nearly a steal by Xavier Lee, who has been all over the place in this one tonight.
Really impressed with his game and his effort on all sides of the ball.
Mike Duman Incorporated been in control the whole night, and there's a shot that's scored.
Somebody got bumped and went flying and had his laying on the ground with their hands up to the referee like, huh?
Yeah. You know what that was, Charles? That was like when Coach Young bumps me out of the way in the buffet line. I have no chance when he sees something, that juicy item on the buffet.
Man, if I can get to the buffet line, by the time I get there, I got to scrape plates after he's gone by.
We call that weight room where I'm from.
Top of the key. 3-pointer won't go down. Between the legs with a dribble. Storr using the screen from Nelson, rolls. Pull-up jumper is there. A.J. Storr connects, and we'll now get a timeout here with 3:14 to go. It'll probably be our final timeout of the night. Mike Duman Incorporated up by 9. Portsmouth Economic Development trailed by as many as 18. You're watching On the Spot Norfolk 27.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
There's that Wilson official game ball with the signature of one Adam Silver. Our camera didn't give me the great shots.
I do not like the NBA ball.
We don't have enough time for your rant tonight.
I like the college and the high school ball. It's bright, cleaner.
But listen, you're not alone. There's a dunk that's thrown down by Ben Allen Lubin. Shamon Williams was commenting earlier about the difference in the balls and the slipperiness. And Jordan and Shamon were talking about that in our last broadcast. It's an 11-point lead here, and it's going to go the other way as maybe the chances here for Portsmouth Economic Development are starting to slip away to get this thing really tight in the closing seconds.
So I feel like the difference between the basketballs is the NBA ball is a little bit more sweat absorbent. I think that's why the leather on that thing feels like that and all that stuff. When the players get sweaty and the ball gets wet, it's not.
Right. I just think it looks dirty all the time. That's the problem with me. I like nice, clean, shiny things.
Little Birdie told me, Charles, that you were cooking earlier tonight before everybody showed up. You were knocking down jumpers left and right here in the gym.
Yeah. I mean, I was shooting around and, somebody had called me and my partner out, and I was like, okay, let's do this.
You had to step it up here. Here's the lead with the swipe. 90-81 is the count as Mike Duman almost had a bad spell, but another dunk is delivered as Van Allen Lubin trying to make that be the dagger, and it could very well be with 2:13 to play. Fricks will use the shot fake after the dribble. Nope, his three is going to be well short, and we get a whistle underneath the hoop yet again with 2:07 remaining. And some of the scouts, evaluators trying to get that quick jump on the traffic, heading for the exits, knowing that this one is probably about to be in the books. They want to make sure they get to their hotel, get them some rest, and get back for Friday's action with 3 more games. And we have 4 coming your way on Saturday, starting at 12:30 Eastern, the 7th place game, the 2:30 p.m. Eastern 5th place game, the 5 o'clock 3rd place matchup, and then our championship at 7 o'clock. You can catch all the action right here on Prep Spin and, of course, in the Hampton Roads Market on the spot, Norfolk 27, bringing you everything here from Game 1 to Game 12. This one being the 5th of our marathon week over 4 days. And the 2 free throws are converted there by Mark Mitchell of Missouri. Helped the Tigers make the NCAA tournament. Kick out to Fricks for 3, and it's good as we tick under 2 minutes to play. Wyatt Fricks from Marshall. And that makes it a 10-point margin, I do believe, if we'll get that score updated. Full court pressure being applied. They get it in.
2 minutes remaining.
Miller up ahead to Lee, who goes to the basket and the layup. I'll tell you what, he was not deterred by that nasty fall. He's up to 23 points and still affecting the game. Pull-up jumper from the high post. It's short. And Copeland, check that. Roy gets the rebound, and he's helped up off the floor.
I feel like Mike Doom and the team is well balanced. They're just, when I look at the stat sheet, their point guard has 8 rebounds. They are just doing everything for each other.
And you have Miller at point, and then when he's out, you have Lee shifting over to the point, and there's no difference. I mean, Lee can score it. He runs the team well, and of course that's Boopie's trademark, and Boopie can score also.
And then your center happens to lead the whole team, the whole game in assists.
Right.
Outside of Cope.
Yeah, you're still getting those scoring passes.
Going right to the basket with the hammer dunk. It's Isaiah Nelson.
You're right about his athleticism, Coach.
Explosive on that one. 1:32 to go. Miller has it. Closing in on a double-double, perhaps. Nearly a turnover, but Van Allen Lubin throws it ahead to Mitchell, pulls it away from the cup as they work some clock. 4 on the shot clock now. And it gets knocked out of play. And generally you don't see the fouling, and I don't mean intentional fouls, but fouling trailing there's a deficit of double figures, so I don't know that that'll be the tactic here, knowing that it's probably out of reach at this point. Although crazy things have happened, and I think we're going to keep it right here with 1:17 to go. And Mike Duman up by a dozen. Some early impressions, guys, on this tournament. We're only about 2 days in the books of it. I mean, what have you liked so far? Certainly, I think Peter Suter's one of the headlines for Miami of Ohio the last game. And there are some players that, you know, there hasn't been one or two guys that's been, oh my gosh, he's a definite NBA target. But there's been some players that have really done a lot of good things throughout the games we've watched here in this event. I think Toby Lawal from Virginia Tech's another name that stands out, right?
Yes, indeed. I love just the potential at his size and athleticism. There's some things you can't teach, and the things like that he can improve on, he can build. You know, he can get better as a player, but that athleticism and stuff, you're not going to come across that size. So he gives me not the matrix like Sean Marion, but he's somebody that seems versatile. He looks like he can make a difference.
How about Jaden Henley, 6'7" guard from Grand Canyon?
Yeah.
Not your typical end. He played well in his game today, so keep an eye on him coming up in what he's going to do in his next game. And I still like the big guys on that cell system team. Rafael Castro, 6'11" from GW, and Jalen Washington from 6'10" from Vanderbilt.
Yeah, some interesting bigs here, and we had those Michigan State players go head-to-head with Carson Cooper and, of course, Jackson Kohler in our last game, as well as Trey Kaufman-Renn from the Big Ten out of Purdue. And I think we'll see more moments from those big men coming up on Friday and Saturday as we near the championship finale of our festivities, our coverage coming up on Saturday night at 7 o'clock Eastern. Here's a three from up top. Doesn't go. Rebound inside. Miller throws it to a leak out, and Xavier Lee. And I tell you what, he's going to quietly have one of the best stat lines in the first two nights with 25 points, and he's got 5 boards and 3 assists to go with it.
I was just going to mention that too when you were talking about players that stood out. He actually really stood out for me today. I really, not going to say I slept on him, but whoa, you know, like he played great. He played great today.
Well, and going back to your point earlier, when he got that nasty fall, he showed just kind of his toughness and moxie.
Little flip, yeah. Laid it on his face, Matt.
That's not fun.
Yeah, he shot the ball well. He actually shot at all 3 levels. The 3 to mid-range, finish at the rim, passed the ball well, and he snuck some rebounds in there too. And his defense was not sloppy.
Yeah, we hear those phrases. Are you a 3-level scorer? 3 and D, the versatility, the switching ability. All those little things are buzz phrases and words that get thrown around a lot in pro circles. And he's starting to check some of the boxes that you want to be able to do if you have that aspiration of playing at the highest of levels. And it's an 11-point lead. They're going to dribble out some clock time here. And with the rock right now, it's Anthony Roy. And he's going to be fouled going up by Fricks, it looks like. No, they're going to say it's offensive, rather. Beg your pardon.
You know, Matt, another thing that stood out to me about Newman, Boopy had 5 fouls, I believe, going into the fourth quarter, right?
Yes, and by the way, they did count that basket. It's not offensive.
He didn't even, that guy, man, he's an amazing point guard.
I like him a lot, the little guy. Now what's going to happen now, guys, tomorrow, okay, you play the game, you go get some food in you get some rest in a foreign bed, maybe not even big enough for your long body, and then come back out here and go hard again. That's the key. You're going to have to go hard again if you want to play Saturday night.
So Mike Duman incorporated after that triple was nailed by Fricks, the assist by Copeland. It's the 3rd foul on A.J. Storr. And the first free throw there for Boopy Miller is good.
Boopy Miller with 1 more free throw.
Mike Duman cracking triple figures tonight as they've had 23 points or more in every quarter. That first quarter rut where Portsmouth Economic Development didn't hit 20-plus points kind of had them playing from behind and catch up all night long.
You know what I think it was? It's the foul trouble, man. They got into foul trouble early in the game, and they've still been going through it throughout the game. So, you know, Duman been to the free throw line 35 times.
That matters, and making 31 of them, I think it's now 32 of 36, and Fricks hits a 3, and that's going to probably do it here. Yes, indeed. No more fouls, although Fricks gets close to him. They won't blow the whistle, and we don't Regret that. 104-95, Mike Duman victorious tonight. They'll move on to the semifinals coming up on Friday night at 6 o'clock, taking on Portsmouth Partnership, who prevailed 77-73. Guys, it was a lot of fun. We'll do it again.
Yes, sir.
For Charles Blackwell Isla and Coach Ed Young, I'm Matthew Hafford, signing off from Churchland High School in Portsmouth, Virginia. You've been watching the 72nd Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament through Prep Spin and On the Spot Norfolk 27. Good night, everyone.
Thank you for your attendance. Have a